Hi, this is Tom Callos, and this is what's known as a Tomcast. Now, you'll hear my voice a little bit funny. If you've heard me before, I'm a little coming out of the flu, a little under the weather, so I'm feeling great today, but my voice hasn't caught up. Second, you might be noticing I'm wearing this funny hat. Well, I have a confession to make. I'm bald. Yeah. Found this hat, by the way, in the old theater in Hilo, Hawaii, on my recent trip there with the Ultimate Black Belt Test team, and I'm on this mission as part of my next Black Belt test not to buy anything new for a year. Now, of course, that doesn't include food, medical supplies, underwear, stuff like that, you know, but to not get into the consumer consciousness and to have a buy nothing new year. That's part of my spiritual quest as a master instructor. But anyway, so this hat serves me, you know, it's a good idea. Find it, you know, you didn't have to buy it. So I've been watching the listserv and reading some of the notes, and there's some really great dialogue on there, and I thought today I would share with you this concept of YouTube, if you're not using it already, to communicate with your students, your black belts, the media, whatever it is. And if you look on YouTube, you'll find some other Tomcasts that I've done, including a tour of my office and dojo here in Placerville, California. Someone wrote about brainwashing on the listserv. I think it was Rand, and I want to mention that yeah, there's a lot of brainwashing going on in the martial arts school. That's the most negative, you know, term for it. But the idea is kind of like Ziegler said with that ham story, where they cut off the ends of the ham and nobody knows why, and they do it. It's tradition. And they asked Grandma, and she said, "Well, my pan was only this big, so I cut off the ends." You know, there's a lot of things like that in the martial arts that we do that we don't know the reason we're doing them, and we just accept them as fact. And those are business practices and curriculum and testing traditions and all these kind of things that we do them. We don't know why. We do them because that's the way we learn. They're not very practical. They're not really good for us. They're really wasteful. But we do them because that's what we know, and that's the nature of being a human being. So it's not just a martial arts thing. In fact, one of my exercises that I have been doing lately is I almost never say martial arts anymore without thinking life. And when I think martial artist, I replace that word with human being. And so my goal isn't to be a great martial artist, it's to be a great human being. And we're not really practicing martial arts, we're practicing becoming masters at life. I think you know what I'm talking about. Brainwashing, how about that you have to drive a certain car, that you have to have a certain kind of pants that you wear, that you have to have a certain brand of glasses, that you have to be wearing a specific watch. That's all brainwashing, and not very healthy for us, by the way, or for the planet. And the lesson is to be more analytical about why we do things, what results we're getting, and what it means for the rest of the planet to have consciousness. And one of the terms that I coined recently is sustainable business practices within the martial arts community. Now, sustainability is a big buzzword because it's about having a lifestyle, having a method of doing business, about eating and so on, that sustains those things. An unsustainable practice, for example, is clear-cutting a forest. When you clear-cut a forest or fish out a lake, you haven't sustained. It's like short-term gratification versus long-term benefit. Business practices and management methods can be the same way. Yeah, you'll get your mission accomplished, you'll make a lot of money, but are you really building an environment where you'll be able to sustain that for a long time, for your children, for the next people in line, for your future, and things like that? So when you think about brainwashing, think about analysis, because we really need some serious analysis in our industry. I think that we're getting all our information from just a few sources, and a lot of that stuff we're doing, and we don't know why. And that's kind of what I do for a living, is I question why and try new things. But the other point I wanted to make was, whether you want to be small or big really depends on what your ambitions are. What's your mission? Are you a man or woman on a mission? It's easy to get caught. We look at a sense of necessity versus absolute passion on a scale from 1 to 10, 5 being in the middle, of course. Everything 5 and below are those things you have to do in any business. They're just the necessities. You have to watch the books, you have to make sure you've got enough customers coming in, that you're making enough money, and those things deserve a good deal of study. But it's been my experience that when you operate in the 5 and above zone, those things are a lot easier to handle. You're never going to get the perfect system because it's so dependent upon the market and your employees and your motivation and your necessity. You have a couple kids, all of a sudden your needs change. That's ever in flux. But the other part, from 5 to 10, when you're working towards being a man or woman on a mission, when you have an intent to make a difference in the world, when you're a person full of passion and drive, and you know what your mission is, and you're going to accomplish it, that's where you get the most reward. Short-term, in front of your nose kind of stuff is, yeah, what's the bottom line? And that's important. You got to pay attention to it. But man, if that drives your world, you're miserable. For most people, at least I'll speak for myself. From 5 to 10, if you can live with passion and purpose, it's like you don't even see the obstacles because your eyes are on the mission. You're just climbing over that stuff because you're going somewhere. You're on a Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Lance Armstrong. Doesn't matter the obstacle. Brain cancer, don't worry about it. You're moving forward. That's the kind of passion. And when you go to a Franklin Covey time management seminar, by the way, and a lot of other seminars, you spend a lot of time working on your goals and your mission because that's what should drive how you spend your time. Now, do you need a big staff? Do you want a small staff? Well, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Management is getting things done through the efforts of others, so do you have things you need to accomplish, or are you just, did you close your circle so small that you can only see what's in front of your face and anything outside of that is, becomes too much for you? Or are you able to look beyond that to something that you want to accomplish in your life? Do you need people to help you? How much money do you need? You begin with the end in mind, right? So don't let anybody tell you that you should be small if you're thinking large. And don't let anybody tell you that you should be large if you're thinking on the micro level. You do something driven from your heart and from that intent and passion that you carry in your life. And if you don't have those things, that's what you go on a search for. It's like when you're a parent, they say pick your battles carefully because you could be battling all day long. Well, that's kind of like it is to be a master instructor. You could fight all day long, all these little particulars, how many phone calls you get and what your bottom line is and how do you have to manage this person or that person. But that's not where you fight. You fight on what am I here for and how can I make a difference. And sometimes when we get locked in our box, our dojo, it's easy to get, sucked up and forget that there's a world out there and that you can make a difference in it. So that's my advice, is don't let anybody tell you what to do. So every time I thought I knew something, I found somebody else doing it exactly the opposite and doing just fine about it. It starts from getting yourself together, and when you are ready, your students will appear. When the teacher's ready, the students will appear. When the student's ready, or when the teacher's ready, the students will appear. Did I say that right? When the student's ready, the teachers will appear. And when the teacher's ready, the students will appear. That's what I meant to say. And then finally, I wanted to wish all of you a happy holiday. It's great to be on the listserv. It's great to see my old friends' names there. It's great to see people looking to do things in a better way. I hope this coming year brings you the health and happiness and focus and mission and passion you're on. I'm working on about, but what it's really about is finding something, some way to make a difference in the world. And luckily, we're in the kind of career where we can make a lot of differences in the world. And we can get people to believe they have the power to make a difference in the world. That might be the ultimate form of self-defense, no? Hey, thanks for letting me bend your ear. It's a pleasure to be on the listserv. Please know that I'm here to serve you if you ever need me. Oh, and before I forget, I'm going to Alabama with the 100, which is my new martial arts association and the ultimate black belt test. We're going to Alabama this coming March and could sure use some of your help if you find the project interesting. And you're welcome to come and build with us too. We're going to Alabama. If you are familiar with Blogger, that's blogger.com, and you go to blogger.com and you search Tom Callos and Alabama, Tom Callos, Alabama, you'll find something called the Project H, which H stands for House. We're going to Alabama to build a community center for local youth, and we're going with a famous graphic design firm called, a kind of a Buckminster Fuller in the design community named John Bielenberg. You can read about it there. And we're going to do some humanitarian work. You can see the website at raisethehouse.com. And again, Blogger, it's a huge resource for instructors to communicate with students and for students to journal their black belt tests and so on. So you might want to become familiar with blogger.com and see how I did it there. It's really easy to put out a great looking document with photos and lots of text, and you can embed video and all kinds of stuff that you can do, even if you're not computer literate like I am. I am not. So again, God bless and thank you. It's great to see all of you again, and you all look great, by the way. And I'll talk to you real soon. Call me if you need me. Bye-bye.